So I've seen a lot of confusion between this idea of co-regulation, which is a biological imperative as informed by us, by Dr. Stephen Porges and polyvagal theory, and this idea of self-healing. And I think the holistic psychologist, Dr. Nicole, has done an amazing job of making self-healing very well understood. And I think there's some confusion out there about Mastin, like self-healing versus co-regulation. How does that work? So let's talk about that for a second, okay? In pure attachment science, right, the idea is that if you didn't have secure attachment as a child, right, consistency, attention, attunement, you cried out and somebody came, like all that basic kind of secure attachment quality, right, then that's something that you've never had, and therefore you have to have corrective emotional experiences primarily through the therapist or the coach to have these secure attached relationships. And certainly that's true. That can absolutely be true. Problem is that really makes the therapist or your coach or somebody else your person that you regulate with, meaning like you need them to regulate, right? Which is not really the goal of having an internal sense of agency or an internal locus of control, or the idea that I can self-regulate, right? But the paradox is that in order to better self-regulate, we got to co-regulate, right? What does co-regulation mean? It means mutual reciprocity, mutual reciprocation in a safe way with people that you feel safe with, right? That's basically what co-regulation is. And you can co-regulate on Zoom, on Skype, here on Instagram or Facebook or on social. You can co-regulate in person, hopefully soon, right? And all those things are versions of co-regulation. And they definitely lead to better self-regulation when you know that you're not in isolation, when you know that you're not alone, and you're not in that type of like abandonment type response. However, consider this, and this is why I think Dr. Nicole is like so onto something here, okay? Think about this for a second. Have you ever had a cut? Now think about this. Think about it. Are you thinking? Have you ever had a cut in your body and your body healed itself? And the answer is, Mastin, of course I have, right? Right, but did you have a PhD in woundology, a PhD in blood sciences and endothelial sciences and stuff like that? Are you a medical doctor? Did you have to get a PhD for your body to know how to heal itself? The answer is no. So what is that about, right? Well, what we know, and we can look at this through all the ancient spiritual traditions or modern traditions like internal family systems, which is a beautiful therapy process, that we have a part of ourself that is a higher self, a wiser self, a ventral vagal self, a soul self, however you want to put it. And whether or not you had great parenting, whether or not you had corrective attachment experiences, that part of you knows what you need to heal. You may not know how to access it, and it has been helping the best it can based on the trauma responses and trauma experiences you've had in the past. However, what we know is that we have a self, a center, a part of us, call it quantum, call it whatever you want, okay? Non-physical energy body, okay? This is documented phenomenon now, okay? And IFS, Internal Family Systems, has well documented this, okay? As if thousands of years of spiritual tradition wasn't enough, right? We have now, efficacy of IFS through, peer-reviewed studies. So we know we have a spiritual or soul self. And the thing is, when we're in a trauma response, anxiety response, depression, all that type of stuff, we're not in touch with that subtle energy. And so as we can start to calm, as we can start to regulate through co-regulation, as we start to get in touch with our different traumatized parts, understand what happened to us, this more subtle energy starts to emerge, and you can become in tune with this part of you. We'll call it yourself. And yeah, you can self-heal. You can know things that you need without ever being taught it, right? So it's kind of a paradox. Yes, we absolutely need co-regulation as a biological imperative as mammals, as human beings, right? But we also want to start to search for that self part of our experience that is wiser, that does know how to love you, that does know how to take care of you. And really the tension between sort of spirituality and trauma and somatics is that when we're in trauma, we're so focused on the body that we forget we have a soul. And when we're in spirituality, we're so focused on leaving the body that we don't honor and respect the nervous system's responses in the body. So we want to get to a place where we have a good yin-yang, where we respect the somatics, we love our younger parts, we love our traumatized parts, we understand them, we validate them, we love them, and eventually we get to introduce them to ourself or our soul, and that part can start to take lead. And yes, we always need co-regulation, but the most important co-regulation you could ever have, get this, you ready? Co-regulation with your soul. Hope that helps.